Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. There was a ton of boxing over the weekend, and by far the best fight, and there were some good ones, but by far the best one was the draw between Alexis Rocha and Raul Curiel, which is probably the fight of the year. I mean, this was a brilliant, brilliant contest, back and forth, a perfect blend of style, technique. These guys showed some real skills, but at the same time, it was all come forward. Well, not all, but I'll get to that in a moment. But certainly in the second half of the fight, it was all front-footed. Let's exchange punches. Let's just have a highly skilled row, a highly skilled punch-up. Brilliant fight. It was on DAZN, Golden Boy, his Golden Boy card. Look, go and have a look at this fight. It's remarkable. Beautiful fight. 12 rounds of boxing. I think the NB, whatever it is, one of the American regional belts was up for grabs, but no one really cares about that. This was just a fantastic fight. And Rocha, a southpaw, Curiel, orthodox, and yet stylistically it was pretty much a mirror image. However, for the first half of the fight, tactically, Rocha did that box fighting thing that ideally you want to be doing if you're that sort of perfect blend of aggression mixed with a bit of defensive nous. He was not running but moving backwards, trying to box off the back foot, springing forward, bang bang bang. Whereas Curiel was following him around, trying to get him to sit still and stand still so he could let his own artillery go. But for the first half of the fight, I gave most of the rounds to Rocha. I mean, probably 5 of the first 6, maybe, I gave to Rocha. And I thought, this is easy so far. No. In the 7th round, Curiel started to let his hands go. And, this is a guy who came in with an undefeated record, Curiel. 15 wins, no draws, no defeats, 13 KOs. So he's got heavy hands. Mexican guy, 29 years old. This was definitely, a jump up in quality of opposition. Certainly, he's beaten some decent, B- sort of fighters. But Rocha, you'd say, is probably a B+. Now, Rocha, 25 wins with 16 KOs. He's got 2 defeats on his record, and the last one was 3 fights ago against Giovanni Santillan, and he got stopped in 6 rounds. And he was down twice, once in the 5th and once in the 6th. But he had that attitude of this was how his career was panning out. He made his name by walking forward and just ignoring what was coming at him and just kind of trying to smash through the opponents. And Santillan at the time was 31 wins with no, I don't think he had any draws or no, certainly no defeats, but no draws either. And in fact, after this fight, he would go on to fight for the WBO. I think it was the WBO interim title. I don't know why we need that, but there it is, against Brian Norman Jr. And he got stopped in 10 rounds, which was a little bit surprising because Brian Norman Jr. was untested, and Santillan was coming off the Rocha victory, which was a big surprise, stopping him in 6 rounds. That was a big surprise. And he himself got found out. So it's all a bit of a round robin at the moment, but certainly Rocha learned from that fight, because instead of now fighting almost face first, he now does a lot of moving, a lot of back foot aggression, you might say, back foot boxing, where yes, he's on the back foot, but he lets his hands go. He is very sort of proactive, counter punches very, very well, fires combinations off the back foot as well, which is, that's quite an art in itself. And for the first 6 rounds, I don't know, he was just getting away with it. I mean, Curiel didn't really know what to do with him, but then Curiel is a slow burner. He's a slow starter. He has been in the past. And like I say, in the 7th round, he started to let his hands go, and he really more than matched Rocha. And it was the first round where I thought, oh yeah, Curiel's got that. He's got that round. Now, the second half of the fight became a war, an absolute war. And it was a case of just when you thought Curiel was getting to Rocha and beginning to, he was in the ascendancy, shall we say. Rocha would come back. It was noticeable that Rocha was, I suppose it was inevitable really, because he used up a lot of energy with movement in the first half of the fight, but he was standing more square on with Curiel and exchanging punches. And Curiel was, for the most part, I would say 2/3 of the time, was getting the better of him. He was landing the more powerful punches, but that's not to say he wasn't taking them. Rocha was clipping him as well. I think there was only one occasion in the whole fight where Curiel looked a bit stunned slightly. Good chin on Curiel, definitely a very good chin. And Rocha, who, like I say, had been stopped by Santillan a few fights ago, he was never badly shaken. He's got a pretty good chin himself. I think, beginning to think that Santillan fight, he just fought completely the wrong fight, and it was just a very bad day at the office. Now, Rocha's still 27. That's all he is. Still only 27. Curiel's 29. So neither of them is, ancient by any means. But I got the feeling that, the heavier hands definitely with Curiel, but Rocha was definitely landing enough flush punches to win some of these rounds. It's just that in the second half of the fight, I think the weight of Curiel's punches probably edged it on the scorecards. They were probably winning him the rounds, because when he landed, Rocha, I wouldn't say he shook, but there was more of a sort of woo factor, to it, rather than Rocha, who you were kind of impressed with his technique and the fact that he was landing a lot of scoring punches, but he wasn't really rattling Curiel. And this went on for the second half of the fight, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, some of these rounds were just incredible, just real phone booth stuff. But it was so technical as well. The technical prowess of both these fighters, how well schooled they are, was an absolute joy to behold, as well as the action. This wasn't a slugfest. No one was slugging here. They were letting their hands go, punches in bunches, fuselage of punches coming at you. And you were just, you almost, sometimes you get into a fight so much, you're sort of bopping away on the sofa, well, go on. It was that type of thing, great stuff, really, really great stuff. Both these guys, I mean, what a pair of warriors. And this carried on right until the final round. And it was, now then, let's talk about the scoring, because two of the judges had it 114-114, which made a majority draw. The third judge had it 116-112 to Rocha. And a lot of people went, Now, I actually agree with that more than a draw, because I think this first half of the fight, certainly the first 6 rounds, I think I gave 5 of them to Rocha. So I had this 116-112 as well. A lot of people say, that judge doesn't know what he's watching. Well, actually, think about it. You've got 12 rounds. Just because the second half of the fight is toe-to-toe, with all sorts of punches flying everywhere, the kitchen sink, and not just the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, the bath, the shades, all flying everywhere. Just because it's a hell for leather, knock down, drag them out row in the second half of the fight. You don't forget the excellent, excellent boxing of Rocha in the first half of the fight, which, by the way, wasn't in any way boring. It was very exciting. It's just that the second half of the fight was so good, it overshadowed the first half of the fight. But Rocha won most of those rounds. So I definitely had Rocha winning the fight. I don't begrudge, Curiel getting the rub of the green with a majority draw. I don't begrudge him that at all, because he fought his heart out. And maybe you can make a draw out of it, maybe. But regardless of any sort of supposed controversy, let's be absolutely clear about this. These two must fight again. They must fight again. And I fully expect the first round of the second fight to be the 13th round of an ongoing fight. Because this has got, Rafael Marquez, Israel Vasquez written all over it. It's that type of perfect blend of styles which are quite similar. I mean, in the first half of the fight, the tactics weren't similar at all, because Rocha was doing the box fighting, whereas Curiel was doing the stalking. But stylistically, even though one is a southpaw and one is a orthodox, when they stand in the middle of the ring, it's a mirror image. It's a mirror image, and it's perfect. It just, fight of the year for me. Fight of the year. I don't know. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you can think of another one that I may have slipped my mind. But if you haven't seen this fight, go and watch it and tell me what you think about it, because it's a thing of beauty. A majority decision 2 114 114s and a 116 112 to Rocha. Let me know what you think scorecard wise. Yeah, and leave your comments below. But what a fight. What an absolute brilliant fight. So, yeah, tell me what you think. I shall read your comments and answer as many as I can. Thank you, as always, for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you could do that, that'd be fantastic. You're helping the channel out. It takes a second, cost you nothing. And also, if you like this video, that little like thing, give that a little click and all. Why not? Spread the love. Anyway, what a great fight to end the weekend's boxing. I say that actually but Dillian White's fighting later against Ebenezer Tete in Gibraltar, I think. No way on earth is that going to be anywhere near as good as this fight. Go and watch this fight. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.